Hello and welcome to the Eliteserien team guide for Aalesund 2020. My name's Steve Wiss and this episode is brought to you by the Nordic Football Podcast as ever. So let's get stuck in with Aalesund, and they're a newly promoted side. They absolutely smashed the Obosligaen last year. They won 25 out of 30 games with just one defeat. They're managed by Lars Behinen, ex Blackburn Rovers and Nottingham Forest man, so a lot of you will be familiar with him. I put key rival as Kristiansund this year. They're quite close to each other, and I think they'll be battling sort of in similar positions in the table. But also do have a rivalry with Molde, and to a lesser degree, sort of Rosenborg as well. Decent stadium, Colorline Stadion is a nice one. They're going to probably miss their fans a bit. They do get behind the team quite well, and a nice orange shirt. I do like the shirt of Aalesund. It's a good one. Let's get into where Aalesund is in Norway then. West Coast, near Molde, near Kristiansund. Trondheim's not a million miles away either. And this is the Colorline Stadion. It's a nice one, fairly modern, and a good atmosphere there when the fans are in the house. Aalesund are newly promoted. They've got an interesting sort of start. A tough one against Molde at home, a local derby. And they've got Bran as well, so it's not the most eye-catching start for them, is it? And a couple of other niggly fixtures like Strømsgodset are away, Vålerenga are away. Not that easy, is it? Mjøndalen at home is the standout easiest fixture. Kristiansund away is another local derby. I think it could certainly be easier for Aalesund. It's a difficult one for them in that regard. So let's go and have a look at some of their players, and we'll start with Nicolas Castro. He's the guy that everyone's talking about. He scored so many goals and supplied so many assists last year in the Obosligaen. I think he's going to make a seamless transition up to this level. And to be fair, you know, they've got tough fixtures, but I think Castro's good enough that he can still score points on his own. But it'd be interesting to see how he does fare in the top division. You definitely should consider him in your team. And probably Simon Nordli as well is a new player coming in. There's high expectations, but 7 million might be a little bit steep potentially. But it might look cheap if he goes really well. The formation's a weird one. It's like 3-1-4-2. So you don't. It's a unusual system which you won't see too much of out there. There's room for one striker. Agenstein's out for the season, so Frid Johnson and Sigurd Horgan are going to battle it out. They look about right in terms of price if they're going to rotate minutes. Jordan Much, by the way, he's at the club. Everyone will know him, the Englishman there. Doubt for game number 1. But in defence, the two wing backs are worth looking at. Hatle Hole and Olafsson. I think Hatle Hole would be the better pick because he's more of a lockdown starter, not going to miss too many games. The left wing back slot is a little bit more sort of up in the air, and maybe a few guys could compete for it. 3 centre backs, Gutassen, Lee and Grona. Maybe Stalini might get minutes as well. Klinkenberg might compete. Jonas Grona could be a cheap option at 4.5 million. Of the regular starters, he's $500,000 cheaper. Maybe he could pop up with goal from a set piece or something. I think they will keep some clean sheets when they're facing some of the poorer sides, say, but it might take until, say, Mjøndalen at home for a clean sheet, along those sort of lines anyway. Interesting side, Aalesund. Do you risk and gamble and put Castro in your side straight away? Maybe, because they've got tough fixtures, but it doesn't mean they're not going to score goals. So he's the one guy that you might think, yeah, I'm going to give him a go. And that is the big decision to make, I think, with Nicolas Castro. By the way, the goalkeepers, I'm not sure who is going to start. Probably Lee will get the gloves, but Kongshaven could do it. I don't really rate Kongshaven, but 4.5 million for a goalkeeper's starting keeper is quite cheap. If they start to get solid, you could look at one of these keepers going forward. But yeah, really interesting side, Aalesund. Keep your eye on them. And yeah, that's all we've got time for in this particular video, and thanks very much for watching. Would love it if you could hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well, and we'll see you for some more Eliteserien team guides very soon. Goodbye.